LGBTQ Liaison in that limited role, the Office of Human Services, Quincy Roberts Sr. Whether there is discrimination, eviction, ban discrimination based on sexual orientation. It was a momentous victory, but one that took too long and didn't go far enough. It didn't go far enough for the elders who had to live through yet another decade without equal protection under the law. For the young people who grew up wondering when, if ever, our leaders would decide that the discrimination they face matters enough to do something about it. It didn't go far enough for the members of the community who are bi and trans, non-binary, gender non-conforming, and even after the law passed, it was met with hate and ignorance and constant threats of repeal. Progress is often a fight, but it's also a dance. It requires leadership, partnership, and the path is rarely a straight line. Today, even as we've made great strides in the last 50 years, there's a growing movement to strip away rights that the queer community has fought and waited so long for. In the first few months of this year alone, more than 20 states have introduced anti-LGBTQ legislation, much of which specifically targets the trans community. These laws are based in fear and misinformation and have serious consequences for the mental health and physical safety of trans people, especially young trans people and young trans people of color. For too long, members of our LGBTQ community have had to invent systems of safety and support for themselves while those in power have moved on or away. For too long, they needed to find resilience in the absence of protection. And for too long, too many of us outside the community failed to act. But the pursuit of justice cannot fall only to those impacted most directly by injustice, because the strength and safety of all of our communities is our collective responsibility. Boston's LGBTQ community deserves an office that affirms and uplifts and defends the safety of all, the opportunities and the dreams of all. This office should connect with the services and resources, advocate, and evolve alongside our community. Boston's queer community deserves leadership and representation that reflects the diversity of identity and lived experiences. That's why today, I'm excited to announce Boston's first ever Office of LGBTQ Advancement. The office will develop policy, organize programs, and provide resources to protect and expand the rights of our LGBTQ residents. And it will prioritize addressing disproportionate discrimination and violence directed at Black and brown members of the trans community. There's a lot of important work to be done, and we need dedicated, thoughtful leaders partnering all across every sector of our city to do it. At this moment, we are looking to hire our first ever executive director for this office to lead the charge in helping us create a more affirming and welcoming city. The executive director will serve as part of the Equity and Inclusion Cabinet, led by Chief Maria Teresa Rivera. And the online application, or one way that you can apply, is to go to boston.gov/LGBTQ. It's incredibly, I'm just feeling so many emotions right now standing here, because I am remembering the depth and intensity of emotion when the city of Boston has had to step up with our community members in times of great stress and danger. When we were gathered outside on the steps not too many years ago to raise the trans equality flag for the first time ever in Massachusetts, vowing that we would not take it down until the state legislature acted and passed public accommodations protections. Or when we've rallied time and again, or when we've been together at marches, demonstrations, fighting for basic dignity. Today, I'm excited that we are all gathered to not only remember and hold space for all that we still need to fight, but to celebrate, uplift, and look forward with excitement to what's to come. This is a city for everyone. This is a city with love, with respect, with trust, and with possibility. And so I am so excited and looking forward to working with Chief Solis Herrera and the inaugural Executive Director to deliver on Boston's commitment and promise to uplift, support, and serve our LGBTQ+ residents. I'm glad to be here today to affirm this commitment in solidarity with and in celebration of and alongside our community members, neighbors, families, friends, students, teachers, city workers, business owners, activists, and athletes. And I look forward to celebrating with you next week during Trans Day Visibility. Desde un poco en español, hoy estoy anunciando la primera oficina del avance de la comunidad LGBTQ+. Esta oficina desarrollará programas, destacará el liderazgo de la comunidad y dará recursos necesarios para proteger los derechos de nuestros residentes LGBTQ+. Entonces es un honor estar con ustedes aquí. Y next I will pass it on to Chastity Boyd.
Which is dedicated to supporting low-income and homeless transgender folks across the state of Massachusetts. So not only do we provide homeless intervention, utility assistance, personal supplies, but also that connection to community, that connection to safety, that connection to knowing that there are organizations like Trans Emergencies on your back and CBC that are going to have your back no matter what. And so I'm happy to be here today in this announcement of the new LGBTQ+ Advancement Office. I would like to say a special thank you to Quincy Roberts Jr. To make sure that this office is not just an office. And by having us here today, this administration is showing us accountability. By Mayor Wu taking the time out of her busy schedule to meet with me and my staff shows action steps, and that this is not just going to be a lip service office, but it's actually going to get work done that the community needs. We have transgender individuals who are being beaten, gang rapes, and attacked in the city of Boston, but we're not important enough to make the news. But with this new office, I'm hoping that they will be backing the Trans Emergency Fund, backing Mass Trans Political Coalition, while we serve these members who are only asking for basic survival needs. And instead of getting that, they're being discriminated against in this great city of Boston. So I know moving forward, this is the right step in the right direction, and I'm so grateful for this administration for making this happen. And it's public knowledge, since we're all here together, that TEF will be one of the organizations that will hold this office accountable in making sure that things are getting done for this community. And again, thank you all for coming out.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Grace Stoll, and I'm the Executive Director of Bagley, the Boston Alliance of LGBTQ Youth. Bagley is a youth-led organization based in Boston, a statewide work led by for the young people of our communities. I am thrilled to be here today, and thanks so much for thank Mayor Wu and her team for the leadership in creating this new Office of LGBTQ Advancement. Michelle Wu is not new to supporting the needs of our community, but I'm so excited to see this next step forward. We know that not only locally but nationally, our community is under attack, and especially young people, especially trans people, especially people of color, and especially those who sit at the intersection of all of those identities. It is so important that we have leadership from the highest ranking in the city, and Mayor Wu is providing that so that we can support the LGBT youth and all of our
And I just want to say, in starting off today, Mayor, I was last here at City Hall for your inauguration in November, where things unfortunately had to be quite different. Not only the energy in this room, the number of young people who are here. I haven't spent a lot of time in City Hall before this, maybe a little bit here. It didn't used to look like this, and it sure as hell does not look like this on Beacon Hill yet. But I think that's a tribute not only to you, Mayor, but to this administration in welcoming and opening the doors of City Hall and really making sure that we have a city government, a state government that is actually reflective of the people who live here. And this is just giving me so much hope and joy, and I just wanted to work on that. It is such an honor to be here with so many people with true giants in our community. And if I start naming names, I'll get in trouble. But I think that we really have work to do and to build upon. And yes, the city of Boston's been pretty darn good on these issues. And I actually found this fabulous campaign that city workers who've been involved in LGBTQ work have had for some time. But there's a lot more that we can do. And I think the real wisdom in convening this office and having someone who's laser focused on the needs of LGBTQ plus people, particularly trans and non-binary folk, people who chastity and grace and others work to support day in and day out. That's going to make a world of difference. And too often, government has really overlooked the needs of the most vulnerable people in our community. And yes, this is Boston, and yes, this is Massachusetts. We're proud, I think, of what we've done, but I really worry that we've been resting on our laurels when it comes to the LGBTQ plus community. So I want to see this sort of action and activity at the state level. I have a hunch come January next year, we might have some really good partners there. And in the interim and here, seeing this work in Boston is just so wonderful. So I'm just so deeply honored to be here. And thank you for just bringing me up for one government letting what's possible here. Thank you so much.
Now I'll turn it over to Quincy Roberts.
Good morning, Boston. Thank you, Chief. Thank you to all of my colleagues that are here. It's been a long journey. I am Quincy J. Roberts Sr., a proud Black gay man. But today is something that I've dreamed about for over a decade. As the final LGBTQ plus liaison for the city of Boston, it has been an honor to take this role to new heights. I stand on the shoulders of Grace, Jerry, Julian, Paul Glass, and so many others. I also get to coalition build with some of the amazing grassroots organizations like Chastity, Kumar, and so many others. I want everyone to know that's doing the work, the real work, that this is not in vain. We see you, I see you, and we celebrate you. Through the Beyond Pride initiative, we have rallied and we have provided a wealth of feedback to the new administration. I am very proud that the city's work on behalf of this community will expand beyond the liaison to a full department that is more representative of the entire LGBTQ community. There is an African proverb that says, many hands make light work. What you see today in this room, look around, is the many hands that helped get us to this historic moment. Boston, let's continue to be bold and let's continue the work. Thank you.
I also want to thank all the activists and all the folks who played
and health. I'm so excited to be here around people. So if I get excited, I'm excited. I'm excited about this office. There is so much work that still needs to be done in the LGBTQ plus community. Health inequities, disproportionate impacts on BIPOC LGBTQ people, persistent challenges faced by our youth and our elders, and systemic barriers that require focus and attention at the city level. Fenway Healthcare is so excited and applaud Mayor Wu for recognizing this and for developing the Office of LGBTQ Advancement. We're going to keep saying it, the Office of LGBTQ Advancement, to elevate the concerns of our community, and we're looking forward to working with the office and the new administration. Thank you all.
And now the person who has been so skillful. Dr. Bailey,
Good morning, everyone. It's an honor and a privilege to be here. Thank you, Madam Mayor, and I can't tell you how long I've waited to say that to someone, and particularly to say that to you. It is an honor and a privilege for me to be able to hold hands and thank John Baldwin and Grace Sterling Stoll, and it is a new day, and we should do more of being able to carry the weight for each other in times such as these. My remarks are to talk about LGBT and to really represent my friend and colleague Paul Glass, who is the founder of the LGBT Orders of Color. They would tell you the story of how they were, Stonewall is not a memory for them, they were there. And that they were part of, there was black and queer people who were part of the Stonewall that history would like to whitewash and said it was okay. They were part of the Stonewall that was led by trans women of color who, in the words of Jenny Women, got sick and tired of being sick and tired and fought back. They were part of a seismic revolution that destroyed poverty for 3 days. It was a riot, it was not a marketing plan. Yet we, 50 years later, have revised that history to not understand that these struggles are real. Power never concedes anything without a fight. It never has, it never did, to quote the voice of Frederick Douglass. And that standing here now, we have an opportunity both in that in the moment of Sankofa to be in the present, to understand our path towards the future. We stand here because of people like Byron Weston. We stand here because of people like Audre Lorde. We stand here because of people like Pauline Murray. And we stand here today because of the nameless, faceless, older, queer, black and brown people who never got the recognition or the ability to do what I'm doing, which is to stand here in City Hall and introduced by my mayor, but who are part of the foundation for where we are now. So my words to all of you, Melvin says that oppression is the absence of choices. Melvin said that oppression is the absence of choices. And we have choices. We can be new and different from the way in which Boston tends to default, which is to continue to create silos, where we say that we're part of the community, yet we go off and do the same things. And I will say this, having been a member of the queer community for over 50 years, that sometimes we are still a work in progress, and we are as biased and racist as any other parts and segments of the population. We have our work to do. We have a lot of work to do, but I know that we can do it, but we have to be intentional about doing that work. And we have to understand that it's not going to be immediate. This has been a long time coming. And in the words of psychoanalyst Franz Fahner, none of us eat the fruit of the trees which we planted. So we are planting trees and we bear fruit for others, but we need to plant them anyway. And we're eating the fruit that others have planted for us. So let's get busy, everybody, and let's plant more trees because we've got a lot of fruit that we need.
Partnership. We are putting forward this proposal in the upcoming city budget, and this is also an initiative
was a trans activist who was talking about his own experiences of discrimination. And I realized that our issues are intersectional. We have to show up for each other, we have to be with each other in solidarity, and we will lead with you all showing us the way. So I'm very grateful for this office. I chair the Civil Rights and Immigrant Advancement Committee. Come to me if you ever need anything to uplift the work that you're doing. I stand in solidarity with all of you, and today is just such a beautiful moment. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Wu. It's great to be here as the first Boston City Council and citywide official to support marriage equality and also work very closely with Grace to create the first transgender ordinance here in the city of Boston. I'm proud to be here. Look forward to working with Mayor Wu and this new department to make sure that we're making real progress and continue to move forward together. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Good morning, everyone. It's very exciting to be here with Roberts, Julianne, so many amazing people. And when I saw all the different departments coming down, I've never seen this many people in this space for a press conference, so this is wonderful. It says a lot about why we're here. We're here for all the right reasons. Having this office and dedicating the needs of our LGBTQ plus Bostonians gives me hope that we will have more advocacy and support for all of our residents. And this fills the promise and commitment that all of our Bostonians are represented and supported in an equitable and accessible way. Thank you, Mayor Wu, for your leadership in this space, and count me in as a strong advocate and counselor you can call on at any time to help lift up all the work you have been doing and will continue to do. It's just so great to be here with so many of you, and I love that you're showing up every day as your beautiful self, so keep doing that. Thank you very much.
I just want to say, I owe a tremendous amount to this community. I grew up in what was really a majority LGBTQ community in Bay Village as a child, and grew up in a church, the Episcopal Church, where a large number of LGBTQ community members had found a home and made a home. And I did not realize when I was growing up, as a recipient of so much love from that community, how much the community that formed me with that love had gone through and how much hostility they had found in their communities in their city. And as I grew older, I was just sort of pulled over by the fact that that hostility was met by love with this community, and that it has made homes for itself and then spread out and then claimed the whole city as its home. And I just think it's so powerful for the city of Boston to say today with this office, yes, we are a home for LGBTQ plus folks, and we are going to stand here and from this office do work that impacts the whole community, not just in Boston's borders, but as the Senator said, in the state and in this country, in what is a very dark and difficult time on many fronts. So I just want to say how moved I am today by all the advocates and the mayor for getting this done, recognizing that it is a promise of work to come, not work accomplished. And I also want to just lift up the work of the Employee Resource Group, the LGBTQ platform. Many folks know my chief of staff, Emily Brown, is very involved there, and so I get a ringside seat to just how much work they do in lifting up this community here in City Hall. And we can't do that work outside of this building if we're not doing that work here inside this building. So really want to shout out to Andrew, Liz, Alicia, and everybody else in the group. Thank you.
I know the president was here earlier, and our chairwoman of the Ways and Means Committee, City Councilor Tanya Fernandez-Anderson.
Thank you. Good morning. I take a different personality than most. Chastity, have you told them about what you look like on the runway? Clarice, I love you. This is for all the boys and girls in dresses. This is for the ballroom. This is for the queens. This is for the underground. This is for the theaters.
And I thank you, Mayor Wu, for open mind and heart. And I thank everyone before me who's done the work, who's been here, who's been fighting for this cause. Gargantos, thank you so much for the personal invitation. I appreciate you. And Vincent, you are so lovely. I look forward to working with you. I have nothing else to say though. It's a beautiful day today.
Then I'm going to pass it over to our Chief of Equity and Inclusion, my name is Lisa.
Before I even go into my speech, I just want everyone to sort of just take a second to look around you and look how beautiful we are. Look how powerful we are. And look how much opportunity there is in this space that the people that have been planting seeds have created, that the women that have led the way for us. I'm gonna make those moves, by the way. Something about those areas. Okay. Buenos días. Mi nombre es María Jenny. Soy Cervera. I'm an honorable family here. And I'm Chief of Equity and Inclusion. I want to thank everyone who took time today out of their busy schedules to be here in the community, because at the end of the day, that's what this is about. And that's what the Wu administration is striving to build, a city for everyone, so that every single one of us can go to work, go to school, go to doctor's appointments, and go to grocery stores in whatever ways and outfits and hairs and whatever it is that we want to show up in. And this is what I hope this office can do, fight against the status quo. And this is what this cabinet is about. We have the Office of Black Male Advancement, we have the Office of LGBTQ Advancement, we have the Office of Women's Advancement. I can keep going. The Human Rights Commission, we have the Fair Housing Commission Home. We also have the Language and Communications Access, and then we also have the Resilience and Racial Equity Office. And I say this because this is about the intersections of our identities as well. And if you meet any person in the LGBTQ community, that's what you meet. Race, gender, socioeconomic status, all in one person. This is why I'm so proud to say that as a queer woman myself, with parents with mixed feelings about who I am, Bobby has a long way to go, and Mommy will fight you if you say anything homophobic or transphobic. I'm just really honored to be with so many of my siblings, cousins, grandparents in this space. As a former teacher, I will say, and I'm so happy that somebody brought the youth voice in here earlier, I still get calls from my students who I no longer see on a day-to-day basis, who got kicked out of the home, are not being respected, are too holy, you name it. So I want us to remember that while we have come a long way, our youth are still seeing us, our youth are still expecting us to continue to build safe and inclusive environments for them. And so my commitment as the Chief of Equity of this cabinet, as we build out this office, is that we are going to be driven by you and with you. And I hope that you hear that and that you hold us accountable like a lot of Okay, let me actually stick to the script so that we don't get too many questions out of here. Okay, some of the things that we will be focusing on is simply coordinating resources. There are a lot of resources out there. They're not making it to the ends that we need them to go into. So we'll be doing a lot of coordination of resources, amplifying a lot of the work that's already happening in the community. We are not here to save anyone or to reinvent the wheel. We are here to uplift the communities that have been holding it down for us for a very long time. We're here to build trust. If you're in this community, you know that there are certain groups that you do not trust. That could be government, that could be police, etc. We are here to build that trust with this community because we believe that we can change the trajectory of this city. And last but not least, we're here to also change policy because it's about policy as well. And with that, if you are interested in joining this team, we are going to go to we have a hiring committee. We're going through the process to find our next executive director, who I hope is in this room. Please go to boston.gov/LGBTQ where you can find the link to apply. And with that, we just close it now. Thank you.
think every citizen, regardless of who they are, where they are, where they're from, deserves the same independence and has to work the same protections. And I talk to the organization members about what that means to you.
Hi, Chastity, Transit Emergency Fund. What that means is an advancement for our community. So before this office, we have nowhere to go at City Hall besides the liaison, which has only limited capacity for issues that are facing our community. So for us, this means that now, when something is going on with one of our members or being discriminated against or whatever the case may be, we have a direct office to go to and to be able to assist us with these matters. But furthermore, this office will be able to assist in so many other different matters as well, not just discrimination. It could be a housing issue, a health issue. It could be a policy issue in that the community will now have somewhere to say we have a space at City Hall that is actually going to listen to our concerns, but not just listen, but help us address them.
I would say quickly that the way in which an office like this is so important, as someone who's lived my life in the context of always being the an academic and someone who's black, a gay person and someone who's of color, that this office is an opportunity to make me a part of the whole and get me out of the world of the ends.
And I would add, as important it is to have an office that focuses specifically on LGBTQ communities, it is also important in that what it represents, that from the top of the leadership, Mayor Wu, in City Hall, that our community matters, our communities are valued, and then as I said earlier, LGBTQ folks are part of every community, every neighborhood, every part of their city, and so to have a formal office where not only you can get direct support and have your needs addressed or resources, referrals, whatever is needed, it's important in terms of what it represents for this administration and the work of the city. Thank you.
Can someone speak to the scope of the office in terms of staffing and budget?
I can say what we are